Hey YouTube, welcome back to Tinker with Tools. It's spring again, and that means it's time for Veto Pro PAC spring promotion. So let's go ahead and talk about the bag I've selected this year and get into that on Tinker with Tools. Now, if you haven't already heard, every spring Veto Pro PAC, which makes really nice tool bags, is going to be running a spring promotion where they are going to be giving out a free item with your purchase, depending on if you purchase a tier 1 item or a tier 2 item, and that's really just kind of bigger, larger, more expensive bags, or smaller or medium-sized tool bags and pouches. And so you can go ahead and kind of make your dollar go a little bit further if you purchase during this promotion. Now, I haven't by any means worn out the previous bags that I've used. It is just more a scenario where I do like to try different options. Now, later this week, I'm also going to have a video where I run through each of the different Veto Pro PAC bags that I've had over the years, talking about what I do like about them, what I don't like, and kind of taking you of a tour inside the empty bags and showing you the different options that are there. This video is going to be more focused on the loadout that I have chosen for this new bag. Now, this is going to be a higher end loadout where I'm not necessarily cutting corners with the different tools that I've selected. But if you're interested in more budget friendly options, I do have a couple of different hand tool and tool bag loadout videos where I do focus on more budget versions of this similar style of bag or loadout. All right, so the bag that I chose for this year is going to be the TP-XXL, and that is going to be kind of tool pouch. XXL is going to be the size, and this is the biggest one they make in this style of bag. Now, this is not a style that I've used before. Previously, I had the Tech OTMC, which is an open style tote. I then also went the Tech MC, which is more of a closed bag. This is going to be kind of a blend of the two, in my opinion, because you're going to be able to open up this flap, gain access to the entire inside of the bag, but then you also do have some various pockets around that are going to be a little bit more useful, in my opinion, than what I was getting with that Tech MC. This is going to be the Pika 7070. This is kind of more of their standard mechanical pencil version. And so when I'm taking notes or whatever, or writing on a little pad in here, I do like to have kind of a more normal pencil. I also then have a Milwaukee Inksol. Now, this could easily be a Sharpie. Really, it's just going to be a black permanent marker for when I need to mark on something. Next up, kind of quick access on the outside of the bag is just going to be kind of my general flashlight. Right now, this is the Olight Arcfeld Pro. It does give you a couple of different options, a laser pointer, a UV light, but then you can also have just a standard flashlight. Overall, this is a nice slender profile. It gives you a couple of different options and I just really like it. Now, for the tape measure, I still am going with the Stabila. It's the BM300. For a lot of the work I do, I don't need a big 25-foot tape measure. I do have those around the house if I need them. I really like the clip. I think it's nice and easy to get on and off things. It's by no means the cheapest tape measure in the world, but I think it is good quality, and so far it's the one I like the most, and so that's why it is making it onto my tool bag again. Now, continuing over here, this is going to be the bit holders that you can get from Vessel, but this one that I purchased just comes with a carabiner and then 3 different bit holders. It's kind of hard to find this one right now, but we'll have different options for you. But it's almost just like an impact driver collet, where you can just go quickly insert the bit. What I like to keep out here is just kind of going to be a T25, a T20, and a Phillips number 2. Those are going to be the most common screw types I run into, and so those are going to be the ones that are quick access out on the outside. I do have other bits inside, but so far that's what I'm putting on the outside. Now, staying on this side, we do have a couple of different pockets. This is going to be the Milwaukee Task Light. This is a pretty potent work light with a couple of different ways that you can mount it, kind of magnetically or just hook it onto something. It's nice and slim and slender, USB-C rechargeable, and offers a decent amount of light, and it was purpose made for this pocket. So this is going to be kind of the light that I use when I just need general light around the area that I want to work in. If I'm ever underneath a sink, for example, doing some plumbing, that is one thing I can just set up on the side and it will cast enough light all around. I really do like it for that versatility. In the internal pocket, I do keep a WD-40 pen. Ever since I saw these in one of the tool bag loadout, this is something I keep in my tool bags. These are going to be the Weha Terminator bit set from Lowe's. And it really just is these 2 slide out pouches of different bits. I do have a larger bit set from Weha that I do like, and I'll link down below, but it is just too big to fit in here. And so what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the bits out of here, and if I lose or break any bits, which is a rarity with these bits in my opinion. Then what I can do is just go ahead and replace these with the larger bit set and just kind of keep rotating them through. This keeps the size and weight down, fits in the external pockets easily, but gives me the bits that I do like to carry. Now this is where I've also opted to keep my little micro square. This is going to be the 4.5-inch Martinez aluminum square, but this is kind of a treat yourself moment, going with kind of a more premium square. Obviously, you could get either like the Swanson or the Milwaukee trim square and it would do just about the same thing. I've loved it so far. It is a premium item, so this is one place where you could go ahead and save some money by going with a lesser option. But since I've got it, I'm going to use it. All right, now moving around to the other side of the bag. On this side, I do have the regular PICA 3030. This is just going to be a carpenter pencil version. They do make them from different varieties, and so I really don't care which one would be in here. It's just I have the most of the PICAs, so that's why they get put in the bag. Next up, utility knife. This is going to be the Milwaukee Fastback. I went with the version that had the bit holder in it, but if I'm being honest, that probably won't get used a whole lot in this application. This is just a glove clip, and basically you're just going to be able to clip the two gloves together. It's nice to be able to keep the gloves on the outside, but have them securely fastened. They're pretty cheap. It's a couple of bucks for a 3-pack on Amazon, so it was kind of a no-brainer to add to this bag, where in previous bags, what I've done is just kind of clip them on differently or stuff them in the interior of the bag. Now, in this loadout, I'm currently on kind of a Bosch kick. If you have been watching any of the recent videos, you'll know that. And so what I have here is the little Bosch installation drill driver. I will say that there'll be times when I'll probably swap this out for an impact, just depending on the type of work that I'm doing at the time. But I do prefer the smaller 12-volt versions. This strap actually comes with the bag, but on here I have a 1-inch thick roll of duct tape. This happens to be the Gorilla brand. Then a standard roll of electrical tape, and then finally I have found a source for a little tiny small diameter 1-inch roll of blue painter's tape. These are kind of the standard tape that I would use just depending on the different things that you're doing. So to be able to finally have a smaller version of the painter's tape, that made me really happy when I found that. This side pocket, this is where I'm going to keep the Stabila laser distance measure. You can certainly get a cheaper version of this similar type of tool, but the Stabila one is one that I tried out and I've actually learned to like. It's compatible with an app on my phone, so I can quickly and easily record measurements from it. It's good, it's accurate. I measured my entire house for blinds using this tool, but every measurement I took was dead on accurate, and so that is something that I really do like. Now you can definitely get a lower cost option of this. This is like a $40 Bosch if you buy it around the holidays, but overall this is a good budget-friendly option compared to that one. Now in this other side pouch, a flexible putty knife. This is just one I picked up off Amazon. It is stainless steel, so it doesn't rust or anything. A Purdy folding painter's tool. This was something I bought for the last bag because I really wanted it to be able to fold down and be more compact. It's obviously not going to be as strong that way, but it still offers a decent tool and has a lot of different functionality in there, so I really do like that. And then the last thing that I have in here that's worth mentioning is just a Klein Tools non-voltage contact tester. All right, so now moving around to the back side, they do have kind of a tablet pouch back here. I don't have a lot of need to carry a tablet with me, but what I've gone ahead and done is I have zip ties in here. I then also have kind of my drill bit set. Like I mentioned, I really like the Weha bits, but their cases are absolutely ginormous. So I found this more slender style Milwaukee one. This also comes with a couple of hex style drill bits. And last, I've just got a little case with some different electrical components. I like having that option because then if you get in a mid project and you drop or lose a wire nut, you have another option for it. Now we're going to go inside the bag. This is Velcro down below, but then up above, it does have zippers. If I'm using it frequently, I actually leave it unzipped most of the time, but it is nice to be able to zip it up and kind of secure it a little bit more safely down there. I did go ahead and pick up these nut drivers from Klein. These are kind of their 6-in-1 or 7-in-1 varieties. I think Klein recently has released a lot of nice little additions to their lineup and a lot of versatile tools. Previously, up until now, I've always sworn by those little rails of Makita sockets, specifically going with the 1/4-inch variety. And what I found is when I was both moving out of my last house and moving into this one where I live now, I found some situations where those sockets left me a little limited, and I end up having to use pliers wrench or wrench for a situation that would have been made easier using a socket. Part of the reason for the limitation there is just they're not very deep sockets. Now this is going to be Klein's pass-through socket set that comes both with metric and imperial sockets in a nice selection of sizes, and every single one of these is going to be a pass-through socket in addition to the standard 3/8-inch ratchet that is going to work with all these. They then also have a handle that is capable of driving them as well. And it has a pass-through all the way through that. More importantly, adapters to be able to run these same sockets on your impact driver. Now, while this is a bigger item and does take up a lot of space in the bag, especially with the added versatility that it was going to give me, this kind of was a no-brainer to include in this kit. Now, I have had to take out the front kind of Velcro panel that they put inside of here that's kind of part of their modular system, but I still have enough storage for everything else I want to run, and it allows me to fit a couple of larger items in that front pouch in a way that I think really fits better than any of the previous bags that I've had personally for what I want to run in this. Next up, I have a 10-inch torpedo level. Previously, I've had kind of their standard kind of 12-inch box level from Stabila. This one is just a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact, but arguably gives me just about the same function. Now, in my last bag, I ended up trying 3 different hammers, and this one is the one that stuck. This is the Milwaukee 12 ounce, and of course it's not going to be something you're going to be using for framing, but for simple little hammering tasks, this definitely fits the bill for me. I always keep a pair of these utility shears. Normally I'm going with the crescent widths. This one bag got the Klein. They are virtually identical except for the safety on them is a little bit different, but this is just a simple, small little pair of utility shears that will cut through just about anything. This is just going to be a Klein handle that came with one of the nut drivers, and this one is just going to have a variety of bits in the handle as well. So while I don't think it's going to see a ton of use in this bag, it is nice to be able to have that and be able to use it either with those nut drivers or with a variety of other things in the bag. Although I prefer a pliers wrench, I found that I either need to have 2 pliers wrench or I need to have a pliers wrench and just a standard adjustable wrench. For this bag, I went ahead and pulled out one of the adjustable wrenches that I have. This is one that I got off Amazon from Fujiya. While I do like this wrench, it's not necessarily picked because it is the best wrench in the world. This is one that I had laying around that I've wanted to try a little bit more. There isn't a whole lot of slop in it. It seems to stay put where you put it. And so just for kind of a secondary wrench in the bag, this is kind of the one that I chose and decided to go with. Something that has been in pretty much every bag since I got them is going to be the Knipex forged wire strippers, and I absolutely love these things. They are good as just a plier. They are good as a wire stripper. They've got a really nice cutter head on them. You can cut kind of a simple electrical or faceplate screws down to size with this, and overall I just think they're the best things that I've ever used. Something that is in my bag and will always be in my bag, the DeWalt 8-volt gyroscopic screwdriver. This is my electric screwdriver that I carry around, and I was saddened when I went to go ahead and get a link for you for this to see that they are no longer carrying this, and if you do find it, it now often commands a premium price. Now this is like an 8 or a 10-year-old item at this point, but the gyroscopic action on here is just going to be the best in my opinion. It is super intuitive. It was something that I thought was gimmicky and that I never thought I would like, and this is easily one of the favorite tools that I have, so it gets an easy no-brainer inclusion in here. DeWalt does have a new version, and it's a 4-volt version, but it does have a USB-C rechargeable, which is superior to kind of the proprietary charger that this one has. Overall, I just don't love the control of it as much. I just think I like the gyroscopic version a little bit more. If you just want something a little smaller, lighter weight, and less expensive, these from Vessel I think are really great options as well. But there's a couple of different options should you not be able to buy this one. If you've been around the channel for a while, you know that I love a good ratcheting screwdriver. Previously did a video with 25, and the one that came out on top for me, in addition to a couple others that I also recommend, is the Linus Tech Tips ratcheting screwdriver. Super nice lightweight ratcheting screwdriver, easy and intuitive, nice bit storage in the handle. It seems to have a good selection of bits. It works well. If you're looking for something less expensive, I'd probably recommend the MegaPro automotive screwdriver. Honestly, it has a very similar ratcheting action, a little bit bigger handle, very good bit selection. That's the one I would recommend to most people, and that comes in around the $35 price point usually, so it's a good solid option. I do also just like to have a standard slotted and then a Phillips number 2. These are from Klein Tools. They're relatively inexpensive, well made, nice and tough. They work decent, and overall I just like having dedicated screwdrivers for those 2 different styles, just so they're quick, easy to grab, and you always know what they're going to be. Now this is probably one place where I think as time progresses, I will probably simplify down probably 1 or 2 sets of these pliers. But for right now, I've got the Knipex twin grip in there. If you need to do a screw extraction or even the little slip joint on there is pretty awesome. They're relatively inexpensive. Excellent pliers. They offer them in different sizes now. That's just kind of the original standard size. Then I'm also trying out the Icon long nose slip joint plier. I know a lot of people hate on them because they're just a knockoff of the Snap-on, but for me, for the price, they work really well. They're a great value in my opinion. Now, one of the purchases I did do for this specific tool bag is this is actually the first time I've owned the full-size version of the Knipex pliers wrench. I absolutely love pliers wrench for what I do, but like I said, I found times when I wished I had 2 pair of these in here, so for a lower cost option, I did go with an adjustable wrench for the other one, but definitely something that I would recommend pretty much all of you try out at least once in your life is a pliers wrench. Next up, I do just have a 7-inch version of Klein's diagonal cutters, you know, just kind of standard diagonal cutters. Not a lot of explanation that needs to happen there. And then the old faithful, the Knipex Cobras, 10-inch water pump pliers, quick adjust. They're excellent. There's a reason why they're the standard. Next up, on the sides and kind of these 2 side pockets, I am going ahead and using these larger Wera Hex Plus keys. Now this is one place where I considered saving a little bit of weight and going with kind of a more basic version of this, but because I had the space in here, in fact, these pockets almost feel purpose-built for them, and they just really kind of tuck in there nice and out of the way. Like I said, they are on the heavier side. Those weigh almost 3 pounds, the 2 sets combined. If I run just kind of those folding little hex key sets like the ones from Weha that I've used in the past, those come in less than a pound. We'll give them a try, and if not, I'll swap out to something lighter duty in the end. Additionally, back here on the back, they do have one of my favorite Veto Pro Pack features, and that is going to be the hook. So you can go ahead and hang this whole bag on here, hang it wide open from this hook, and it is just a super nice feature to be able to keep it up off the ground. If you're working in a dirty or wet situation, you can even just sink a screw into a stud somewhere, hang the bag from that, and it keeps it up off the ground. I think that is a great feature overall. But that is the loadout for this bag. Now, as it stands, this bag is right around the 30-pound mark, and honestly, that's probably a little heavier than I'd prefer to have it. But of all the different loadouts that I've done, this one is going to be the most complete in my opinion, and this bag held stuff the best, and so I was able to just kind of cram everything that I always wanted in there, and for the most part, full-size versions of it. In my last tool bag, I had the little 7¼ inch versions of the pliers wrench and the Cobra, for example, because the full-size versions just didn't fit well where I wanted to store them. We're just going to have to see if time will tell if the weight is too much or if I decide to have a smaller one. The way that I intend to use this is if I'm going to be doing something and I don't know what I'm getting into, this is the bag that I'm going to grab and take with me, and it can tackle pretty much anything that I need to be able to do. But if I'm doing something where I know I just need a couple of small simple tools, I do plan on having a lighter duty bag that is going to have less tools in it, but still be able to get the work done in kind of those lighter situations. So if I'm just doing something quick, lighter duty, I don't necessarily need to grab the bigger, heavier bag. All right, so there's the loadout for it. Obviously, there's a lot of value in a bag like this. This is not something that I did overnight. I didn't just go buy everything for this bag. Some of these tools are 5 and 6 years old at this point, and so I have been kind of collecting things over time. And like I said, these are the versions of the tools I prefer to run, and so that's why they're going to be in here. If you have any questions about the bag itself or any of the tools inside, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. If you like this sort of video, go ahead and let me know by hitting that like button. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Make sure to turn on notifications. We got a lot of exciting stuff coming out. But as always, thank you for your continued support. And until next time, I'll catch you on Tinker with Tools.